Hi folks, today's video is a book haul and these are the books that I got for Christmas. Now luckily my family know me well enough to know that the thing to get me is books, so I have a good size stack here, so I was very pleased, and some surprises there as well, so yeah, let's get on with it. So my parents bought me 3 books, the first of which is this one here, which I was delighted to receive. This is Find Momo, and Momo is a border collie who is a bit Instagram famous, and I love his Instagram account. It just makes me so happy whenever I see one of his new pictures, and he does various things. One is there's an Instagram account of just his face, and he's always looking up at the camera in the same way with different backgrounds. Sometimes he's in snow, sometimes he's in grass. There's one where he's covered in blueberries. It's a really cool creative account. His owner Andrew Knapp has an account as well, and this is kind of how he became famous, is that he would tell Momo to go and hide, and he would go and hide somewhere in the scenery and he'd take the photo, and the question is, can you find Momo? So this is the book of that, but it's also got information, and it's all about the journey that they took across America. So he's in all these different locations. It's absolutely delightful. The photography is incredible as well. It's really beautiful, well thought out, and I could spend hours looking at this, looking for Momo. I'm gonna get distracted if I start looking for him now. Oh, there he is, I can spot him. He's tiny in this one. But yeah, so if you are a fan of border collies or dogs in general, then I'll link the Instagram account down below along with the link to this book, because it would make a great gift. It has made a great gift. It's made me very happy. The next one is a little bit unusual, and this is one that I hadn't actually come across, but I love this cover so much. Look, oh, isn't it beautiful? It's one of those covers that I just look at and think, oh, I wish I'd done that. It's all made from paper cutouts as far as I can tell, and in these beautiful jungle colours. But the book itself is called The Plant Messiah, and it is all about lost plants and finding plants that are very, very rare or thought lost to history, and about reviving them. So the author, Carlos Magdalena, is the botanical horticulturist at Kew Gardens, one of my favourite places in the world, certainly my favourite place in London. And yeah, so this is all about those discoveries and rediscoveries, and there's a section of photos in the middle of some of these really beautiful plants. There's this enormous water lily with a small child sitting on there. Yeah, so I've had a quick read of a little bit at the beginning of this, and it looks really great, so I'm delighted to have this on my shelf. Next up, there is this one here, which is Demon Voices by Philip Pullman, author of His Dark Materials and more recently The Book of Dust, all of which I absolutely loved. So this is a collection of essays, and they have been written over quite a number of years, but they've been compiled in this, and I just think that the title Demon Voices is so appropriate. And if you've read His Dark Materials or The Book of Dust, then you will know what the relevance of demons are. They're not demons as in little gremlins with horns or anything like that. This looks fantastic. It's got a little index in the front which tells you, it says that these are the essays if you're interested in children's literature or on folk tales, fairy tales and epics. I know somebody who might like that. On other books and His Dark Materials, on religion and story, things like that. So it's a nice little guide there if you want to just dip in and out of this book. Also a moment for the cover, which is wonderful, and it's cloth bound. It's a naked hardback. Got a really nice feel to it, very solid feeling book. The only thing it's missing is a ribbon bookmark, but I won't hold that against it. All right, the next one is from my wonderful friend Jen Campbell, who has sent this to me from the UK, and oh, she knows me so well. This is just so perfect, and it will go very well with other books in my collection that I actually spoke about recently in a book about fantastic beasts, and also it would fit quite nicely into the weird things category, which is another video I made recently, but it's this one here, Cabinet of Natural Curiosities, and this is a reissue of an old book from the 1700s. This is produced by Taschen, who do amazing, beautifully illustrated books. You can get a version of this, which is enormous. I think it's well, it's hundreds of pounds at least. It's a very expensive book, and it's enormous. This is the miniature, much more manageable size version, which, you know, can actually fit on a bookshelf or a coffee table, as opposed to the other one, which would literally take up an entire coffee table. I have seen it, and it's monstrous. But speaking of monstrous, this is full of monsters. It's plates of natural history. And you've got things like the porcupine here. There are an awful lot of snakes in here, so if you're not a fan of snakes, maybe steer clear. Ooh, some rather large crabs and lobster. I think these are coconut crabs, which you find in the Pacific, and they're quite terrifying. Then there's a section at the back about shells and all these beautiful plates, corals and seaweeds, and it's just my perfect kind of book. I love looking through things like this, looking at old natural history, and I think you can get a sense of how people in the past saw the world as well. So it's not just the natural world in itself, it's also sort of has that historical context where you're looking through the lens of somebody of that time, and it's just fascinating. Then there's a book that I may have bought for myself. Yeah, I got it for myself for Christmas, and actually I wrapped it up and put it under the tree. How sad is that? But it arrived, and I didn't want to look at it at the time, and I knew that I wouldn't have time to look at it, but I knew that on Christmas Day I would have time, because I told myself I'm not going to do any work on Christmas Day, and I didn't, and it was marvellous. But people who are self-employed will probably know that it's often quite difficult to unwind and actually take time for yourself. I kind of feel guilty whenever I'm not working, so it's been nice to have some time off over Christmas. Anyway, all of that leads to this book here. Oh my goodness, this is just everything. As you can see, it's The Art of Harry Potter. And what immediately attracted me to this was the cover and the fact that this here has been designed and lettered by Jessica Hish, who is just the superstar of hand lettering on the internet and of our time. She does the most wonderful work, and yeah, so obviously that rather drew me to it. It's got foiling, silver foiling on the front as well. It's yeah, also got this lovely matte finish cover, and the whole thing is just absolutely stunning. And it's full of artwork from the Harry Potter films, is what it comes down to. I'm going to take the dust jacket off and show you underneath, because that is also beautiful. It's simple and classic and elegant. Oh, also, the dust jacket is one of these foldy over ones. There's probably a technical term for that, but I don't know or can't remember. And this is what it looks like without the dust jacket. So it's got that same lettering, very classy, elegant, simple. And then the spine looks like that, and the back has just got a very simple geometric design on there, which has a very classic look to it. I'm a big fan, and of course this beautiful, very deep green colour. So, inside of this book is equally beautiful, and that is because it is full of the art, the concept art, and the designs from Harry Potter. Now, Warner Brothers, through Titan Books, have produced a number of these books over the past few years. There's been the Character Vault, there's the Artifact Vault, the Magical Creatures Vault. They're all very beautiful books as well. My favourite one is the Artifact Vault, which has got a lot of the graphic design in, and I love that book. And I was delighted to see that there's actually some additional stuff in here that is not in that book. So if you're wondering what you're going to get out of the this book, if you have the others already, or if you've looked at the others, then the answer is you will get more. There's stuff that hasn't been seen before in here as well, I believe, or at least stuff that you can't see very easily. So I will just try and find you a page I can hold up and show, because it's huge. That's how big this book is. Ah, how gorgeous is that? That's the lake scene from Goblet of Fire. And I'll insert some images here of just the general beauty of this. And what I particularly loved about it was the section right at the back, which is an absolute delight to me because, as you know, or probably know, I am a book designer. I love all things design, lettering, typography, and all things Harry Potter. So anything that is design and Harry Potter, anything by Mina Lima, in other words, is completely up my alley, up my Diagon alley even. But yeah, the back of this has all these labels and books from the films, and these are ones also that, well, some of them in here are ones that haven't been in other books, so not in the Artifact Vault, and ones that I haven't seen before, which was so exciting, because I've been to the Warner Brothers studio tour a couple of times, and also to the Mina Lima shop in London, so I am very familiar with these images, and yeah, it was so delightful to see some new ones. I've got a few other books that I wanted to mention. These were not Christmas presents directly. Well, this one is Christmas related. It's Kate Tempest's The Bricks That Built the Houses. And this I got in a Secret Santa swap at a book club that I've recently joined, and is wonderful. So yeah, this was what I got, and I was really happy to get this one because I haven't read it. I've read Kate Tempest's other writings, her poetry, which I find wonderful, and I haven't read this. And I often find that poets make the best novelists, or make really good novelists, because what I love most in a novel is really good prose, and poets know how to put words together, basically. So I have high hopes for this one. And then I was in the mood for fantasy books. I've been rereading or re-listening to the Harry Potter books, and I felt like I probably needed to listen to something new rather than listening to them and Name of the Wind over and over. So I went back to a series that I started a few years ago, actually. I listened to the audiobook of A Darker Shade of Magic, which is this one here, and so I bought a physical copy of it. This is the collector's edition, and it's beautiful. However, you'll probably notice this is not the collector's edition. This is the dust jacket. I've loaned it to my mother, so she's got it at the moment, but it is a really beautiful collector's edition. There's a whole lot of extra information at the end of this as well. There's a glossary of some of the terms, or the translations of some of the words in different languages. So that's really cool as well. So I read the first one 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago even, and I really liked it, but then the second one hadn't come out, and when the second one did come out, I got an advanced reader's copy of it, and I just somehow never got to reading it, and even though I was really excited about it, and it just never happened. So now all three are out. So long story short, I bought the second one again because I didn't bring it back from the UK, and I read this, really enjoyed it. I'll talk about it in a wrap up, and now I'm on to the third one, so I bought that as well. That was a very long-winded way of saying that I bought these 3 books. So those are the books that I got for Christmas and around Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas and got any books for Christmas, please tell me what your favourite book was in the comments down below. I'd love to know. Looking for more recommendations. Yeah, Happy New Year as well. Completely forgot to say that at the beginning. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Thank you.